Parks, schools, restaurants, and more, Assembly Row gets high scores. We're a thriving city with so much to do. On Boston Harbor, in our view, politics, cannabis, controversial stories, heroes, villains, who gets the glory? 50 plus languages in Somerville are spoken. Sanctuary city, there are no free tokens. History in Somerville stays alive. In All-American City, we won 3 times. Somerville connects. Somerville connects. Welcome to another edition of Dead-A Alive, the longest live-running TV show in America and audio podcast, Somerville Connects. We have the amazing woman of the hour, Tina Cabral. Welcome, Tina.
Well, thank you for having me, Jojo. Coming from the Woman of the Year, as I always say, that isn't quite an honor. Thank you for having me. I am happy to be here with you this afternoon.
So, Tina, let's talk about how we first met each other. I know you from the local TV station, Somerville Media Center, and you have been the woman sitting at the desk, but also assisting all of us producers with all of our technical difficulties. You're always there. You always rise to the occasion. You always figure it out. You always save the hour. Hence, woman of the hour.
Well, those are some big shoes to fill, Jojo, as you know.
Well, you came shortly after Jason Corey. Now, Jason was awesome, but I gotta tell you, when a chick is involved,
we take it to the next level is what we do. But I agree, Jason is awesome. I enjoyed working with him, and he's off doing bigger and better things with his photography company. So all blessings to him. But yeah, I mean, it's great working with producers such as yourself and the whole Dead-A Live crew. I mean, it really is a joy. And when you say, I'm there to help assist the producers, you guys make it a pleasure for me to do so. You make my job easy, put it that way.
You are a very pleasant human being. You always have a great attitude. You're positive. You're happy. You're inviting. When I walk into the TV station, I'm always happy to see your face because you have a welcoming face. And you make everybody happy. Everybody loves you, Tina Cabral, Woman of the Hour.
Oh, Woman of the Year. That's very kind of you to say. Some people will say, well, it depends on who you ask. But,
if somebody doesn't have anything nice to say, so be it. So, Tina, let's find out a little bit about you, our viewers, our listeners. We don't know a whole lot about you. So you're going to take us on a little timeline. Who you are, where you grew up. You don't have to give us all the information, but kind of give us an overview of how you ended up right now where you are. So take it away, Tina, and I'm going to put you on our famous speaker view so we could just see your gorgeous face.
Jojo, you never cease to amaze me, Jojo. Always taking it a step to the next level. And I always appreciate that about you as a creative, a producer, and a human being, because it makes me perform better and with those expectations. So thank you for that. I knew this was coming, which is why I was thinking about it, but I didn't prepare anything specific because I wanted to just kind of talk from the heart. So, okay. SMC, how did I get here? Well, long story short, I grew up in Cambridge, moved to Somerville many years ago. Somerville is now my home, with my roots being in Cambridge. And while I was still living in Cambridge and in college, I did a 1-year internship with the Boston Globe at the time. My major was business, but I was always a writer, always interested in writing and perfecting my writing skills. So I did an internship at the business section of the Boston Globe for a year, where I was doing writing and editing and whatnot. I had my first breakthrough I guess I can, as looking back, I can call it that now, where I interviewed Millard Fuller, who he's passed on now, but he is the founder of Habitat for Humanity, which is one of the international organization, nonprofit, which builds homes for marginalized communities all over the world. And my editor approached me one day and said, "Hey, do you want to interview Millard Fuller?" I didn't know who he was at the time. I said, "Sure." And before I know it, I was having a conversation with, I'm young, I'm in college, probably my sophomore year, and I'm speaking to an older gentleman, sophisticated businessman, multimillionaire, and I would definitely say that opened the doors for me later on to the Bay State Banner, where I was a co-columnist for the arts and entertainment section for a few years, as I, began my writing, continue with my writing, and an opportunity came along when I was working at the State House at the time. So I had my full-time job at the State House, which is sort of my, I guess you could say, my public management background. And while I was working at the State House, and this would be in the early 2000s, I guess now, I just networked, the opportunity to network with politicians, community leaders, civic and business leaders, introduced the opportunity to work at the Bay State Banner, where I built a rapport with the editors. And since I was going in all these community events, citywide events, galas, town hall meetings, community meetings with constituents, fundraisers, you name it, I was there. The editor at the time, Yawu Miller, said, here's another, I guess my second big breakthrough. Since you're already attending these events, why don't you write a column and, talk about all these events you're already going to anyways? And I said, okay, sure, why not? So I guess lesson is always say yes. Say yes to any opportunity that presents itself.
Because it makes you step up to whatever you have to do. It helps you to stretch yourself. Everything is attainable. Even if you can't do it, I know I've been asked to do things and someone says, "Do you know how to do that?" And I don't. And I say, "Well, of course I do." And then I find myself learning at the last minute. Oh my God. Talk about stretching. But this is why you are so fabulous with people. I have no idea. I love your story. So you're working, your second breakthrough was with Yawu Miller. Am I saying the name right?
Yeah, well, it's actually Yawu.
Yawu.
Yes, Yawu Miller. Very interesting name, but
can you spell that? Miller, can you spell that name?
It's YAWU.
What? Why? It sounds like Yawu.
Yes.
Yawu. Yawu. What a great name. Yawu Miller.
What's interesting is, I actually just putting it together now and saying Yawu's name. It was Millard Fuller and Yawu Miller, something about the Fuller and Miller that's just,
A lot of Millers going on there. There's a theme happening.
Yeah, there's definitely a theme. But in any case, that was my second breakthrough at the Bay State Banner. I did that for several years into the 2000s. And that was just such a joy, a learning experience to be able to not just attend events and serve as the voice of the community, because it's African-American owned newspaper. So they served as a voice for the community. So it was an honor for me to be able to fill that role for the time that I did. And not to pat myself on the back too much, but it was just an honor to be able to have an interview with someone like Spike Lee, Hollywood film director, actor Spike Lee.
Really?
And yes.
Wow.
I mean, incredible. I mean, just amazing. And Cesaria Evora, she was a Cape Verdean vocalist, well-known Cape Verdean vocalist who collaborated with many American musicians as well. I interviewed her producer as she wasn't available at the time. But the list goes on. I mean, I remember being in the same room with Reverend Desmond Tutu, Giancarlo Esposito, the actor. This was for a major fundraiser in Boston back in the day.
This is pretty amazing. And if you don't mind me saying, how come you haven't taken over the news anchor desk at Somerville Media Center with your experience?
Everything has its time, Jojo. I'm waiting for another Miller, a Miller or a Fuller. But you know what? SMC was definitely third. It's been my third breakthrough, I would say, in terms of the media world. And definitely, I mean, it's not always being in front of the camera or interviewing someone like Spike Lee or Millard Fuller. It's working with producers such as yourself. That is as rewarding as anything else, because it's truly an exchange of creativity, ideas, skills, so it's been immensely rewarding. So that's kind of been my journey, what led me to SMC, those skill sets. But I'll have to say specifically for SMC, it was in about 2016. So I have all that experience or whatever. And then in 2016, I remember I was at my home. I was watching SCATV, though not involved at the time, just watching it. And I remember seeing Walter Ness.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I saw him on TV, and he was doing energy work. He was doing specifically chi energy.
Right. I miss him.
I know. Yeah, I try. These are one of the ways I try to keep his legacy alive, because I'm like, wow, this guy is fascinating. I haven't seen that yet on the local level. How do I find out more about him in this organization? And that was what introduced me, frankly, to SMC. I started out as a member at the time. As a member, I took an intro to documentary film class. Of course, I met Walter, and he took me in as kind of like understudy in comedy, and I worked on comedy, and we performed together actually last year.
Really?
We performed at the Comedy Club, the one in Somerville.
I did not know that. Tina, I'm learning new things about you today. I love it. Okay, do you have something funny you want to share? Since you worked with the person who brings out the funny in everyone?
What's funny is that Walter, he helped me create a character, my sort of my alter ego.
Oh, you gotta let me in. Now, who is this character? You do explain.
So we were working on jokes and skits together. And he said, you know what? I'm going to call you, you're K-Best. And I said, okay. Once again, it's like, okay, sure. Which is a spinoff of Mae West, the turn of the century, voluptuous, glamorous.
Why don't you come up to see me sometime? Is that a banana in your pocket? Or are you just happy to see me? That's Mae West. I know that's a little bit out there, but that was her. She was known for that.
That was Mae West. So part of her, I would say part of that. Yes, and it worked well for her. I mean, she was, but something about that her resonated with Walter, and then we took a part of that, and then to build my new character, K-Best. Which I was not prepared. Like I said, Jojo, I wasn't. That will have to be another show for another day.
Can you do like a line or two from K Best? Go ahead, Tina. Take it away. Give us, even if it's a second, a few words.
Well, KBS doesn't have time for this, of course. I have auditions and interviews, and my assistant is waiting for me. So if you want to have more questions answered, I'll have to go to my audition, and my assistant can take care of that for you.
Okay, so you're a diva.
K-Best is the diva.
K-Best is a diva. Okay, we'll continue this at some other point in time. For all of us who don't know who Walter Ness is, Walter Ness brought out the funny in people, and he was a character. We recently lost him. We lost him in the spring of 2020. Is that correct, Tina? Early spring?
Yeah, he passed in early to mid-April, I believe.
Okay, yeah. And I was very fortunate to interview him as one of the last people I interviewed at SMC. But anyway, back to you, K West. Tina Cabral, Woman of the Hour. So you ended up at Somerville Media Center. And tell us what your roles were at Somerville Media Center. I know what you did, but tell our listeners and viewers.
Sure. So basically, and we mentioned Jason Curry. I actually began filling in for Crystal Chandler.
Right, Crystal Chandler, yeah.
Who has also moved on to bigger and better things as well. But I started filling in for her, which were big shoes to fill in, because I think Crystal has an infectious character, personality as well. She's always smiling, always cheery, always positive. So I kind of tried to along with my natural ability to make sure that tradition was maintained. But as the first face that you see when you come to the front desk, make sure that wherever you're coming from, where it's from work or another production or from school or class or wherever, that you've walked into a real community.
Oh, you definitely give everyone the sense of community, which is what it's all about. Why do people meet at the local station? So they can feel like it's all inclusive. It's a place where you feel safe, you can create and have some fun. Isn't that what it's all about? And you know what they say, girls just want to have fun.
I love that song. Cindy Lauper.
Girls just want to have fun. Girls just want to have fun.
Simple as that. And if what's the point of doing it, JoJo, if there's no fun in it? Right. What is the point?
There isn't any point. If you can't enjoy yourself, why bother? So what is one of your favorite Somerville stories? It could be either at the local access station or it could be something outside the local access station. And I know you have a few of them.
The Somerville stories. Oh, yeah. Okay. There's one that's kind of funny. There's another producer that I work with there at SMC. And I remember this wasn't too long before actually the pandemic lockdown in early February, and nobody knew it was going to happen. And you might know this producer, but she has a little pooch, little puppy.
I've seen someone walking around with a puppy. Is that person Joanne?
No, it's not. But she had a little puppy on the show, and I was helping her out with the green screen. And green screen stuff is not. I mean, you really have to be well versed in the green screen stuff to know how that works, because it's very delicate, and that if you move a certain, you could disappear in the ethers of the screen. So in this case, she was taping with her little puppy, also on the stage, and then I don't know what happened with the green screen, but we went to look at the recording after, and the puppy disappeared in the middle of the production.
That's great.
And or she, it's a she. She pulled a disappearing act in the middle of the production.
It's beautiful.
It was just hilarious because the little puppy was dressed up the kicker is the little puppy had a tutu on.
Oh,
And it's so adorable. But then, the tutu disappeared.
Thank you for sharing.
It's hilarious, isn't it? I mean, there's so many more like that. But it's called, hey, the magic of SMC.
It is magical. So tell me, what else do we want to know about Tina Cabral, Woman of the Hour? What haven't you told us?
Well, Woman of the Hour misses the Woman of the Year and the whole Dead Air Live crew. I mean, I really miss you guys immensely.
Thank you.
Altering Thursdays, was it? No, Tuesdays.
Tuesdays. And all the yelling before a live show, like how intense it gets. Does it get intense or what? It's like, it is showtime. Everything's got to be ready. Did you know that we started our show? Now, I wasn't around then. 4 months earlier than Saturday Night Live. We started November of 1974.
Wow.
So we are the oldest live running TV show in the country. Some say the world. I don't know the world, but I could say for sure in the nation.
That's incredible. Well, you guys should definitely be proud of yourself for going on that long. It certainly speaks to your level of your skill set and your commitment.
Yes, I've been involved with the show for 17 years. And I went in there thinking I was going to find a crew, and someone says, "Well, why don't you come into the studio? We need a camera operator." And I said, "I've never done it." They said, "Don't worry about it. Just like we need a camera operator." Now, today that would not be allowed because you have to go through all the different, qualifications. You have to be certified to be on the cameras because the cameras right now are a little bit more complex. They're a little bit more delicate. There's more electronics. So they just can't have anybody just jumping on a camera.
Right. Absolutely. So you sort of grandfathered into that,
Well, I still had to be certified afterwards after they found out that I just jumped on. So, there's certain rules and regulations. So Tina, take us on another adventure of your life. What have you been doing during this whole pandemic? The studio has been closed, sort of. I think they're partially open, but people aren't allowed inside, but people can get rentals on the outside. What else do you do in your world because you're not at SMC all the time?
Right. So unfortunately, well, first I have to say, we're all looking forward to that day, and it will come soon enough when we do get back to SMC, and I could give you that big hug.
Yes. I look forward to absolutely giving you the big hug. And you're a great hugger, for sure.
Oh,
yes.
Thank you. So in the meantime, we are working, SMC staff is working from home virtually. We have our almost daily meetings, not quite every day, but enough that we know what we're sort of on top of what everybody else is doing, which is important since we're virtual. We're still working with producers such as yourself and many other producers to submit productions to us. I've collaborated with other producers on shows to submit. We've got a lot of people doing podcasting now. We did the water coolers, as you remember.
I love those.
Yeah.
They kind of stopped.
They did, because the demand wasn't there as much, because, things were starting to open up, the weather was getting better, and people weren't showing up as much to the water coolers. So now what we're thinking of doing before the weather gets too cold, back to, the cold again, we are thinking of doing, not virtual, but in-person social distancing, limited events. So we're working at we're working on that right now. I think I mentioned to you sort of something at the park, maybe.
Yes, I recently got together with a bunch of people outside of the Longfellow House. There's a park across the street that's pretty wide open. Everyone brings their own chair. There's on-street parking. You social distance, and we can like meet each other. I think that's great. The weather's beautiful now. Right?
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I've been doing, you Zoom when you have to Zoom because of whatever, but
Right.
whenever I can do a show or interview outside, I do it outdoors, weather permitting. You just have to be careful with the sound quality, and that, that could make things a little bit more interesting, but with time you kind of get the knack of it. So that's what we're doing at SMC. So as far as what I do, when I'm not virtually working, bike riding, I've taken up bike riding again. I used to be very involved.
Really?
Yes, I love bike riding.
They say that bike sales have gone through the roof. And I see bikers everywhere. There's sometimes more bikes on the road. I feel like I'm in Amsterdam.
I know. It's that way.
I think it's great. As long as drivers are safe when they drive and they're respectful. And do you wear all the gear when you ride your bike? I hope.
I should be, not all the time.
Tina, that is probably even as important as wearing a mask. Seriously. Because sometimes drivers aren't, they're not so respectful. And we need you. We don't want anything to happen to you.
Thank you.
Okay?
No, I don't want to go anywhere. I have too much work. I have work I still have to do. So you're right. I will work on, it's something I was actually thinking about today.
You want to protect your brain. If you don't have your brain, you know what the Scarecrow used to say, if I only had a brain. Where do you see yourself 5 to 10 years from now? Who is Tina Cabral, Woman of the Hour? Who's she going to be 5, 10 years from now? Where's she going to be?
Her and Kate Bess will be taking the show on the road.
Really?
That's the alter ego. That was a little alter ego speaking there.
Beautiful.
I hope the adventure continues. I would definitely stay in media. I would love to be further involved in, something like maybe a movie production, independent or, something local. Writing scripts. I guess conceptualizing ideas for scripts or productions. I enjoy that.
This sounds very exciting. Woman of the Hour, I have enjoyed interviewing you so much today. I look forward to seeing you live in person, and I want to thank you. You are such a lovely, lovely human being on so many levels. Everyone in the world should get to know you. Everybody.
Again, that comes a lot. It says a lot coming from you because I know. Do you remember we met at the coffee shop before?
Yes, Nero's.
We met at Nero's, and I want to say this was early February.
It was in March. Oh, it could have been in February. It could have been.
Right. And right before any of this, and we had a nice conversation. I got to know a little bit more about you and your story, and how important family is to you, and how important hard work is to you, and having a positive mindset, and all those good things, and sharing that with people. So that's why I always say, when I get compliments like that and people recognize that, because they have those attributes themselves, and I actually learn from that. So I actually watch and I learn and I pick up on it and say, okay, I'm on the right track. I'm doing something right.
You are you're definitely on the right track, and usually people can only see in you what they can see in themselves. Usually people mirror. When someone is miserable, they cannot see the good in other people because they're so miserable. They're like in such a dark place. It's hard for them to get out of their own way. But you are such a bright light, and I love being around positive people. Who doesn't? Who doesn't like being around happy people? So thank you for being you. I look forward to seeing you. You are such a delight, and I hope to see you shining as you are today forever.
Thank you, and all blessings to you. Continued health. You continue to look. You look better. Even better every time I see you. I love that.
Thank you.
Those colors look great on you. Stay well, stay healthy.
Thank you.
Stay positive. Stay smiling. Stay
Thank
singing.
you. All right. Tina Cabral, thank you so much. And everyone, thanks for listening and viewing another edition of Dead Air Live and podcast Somerville Connects. Bye for now. See you the next time. Bye-bye. Somerville Connects. Somerville Connects.